Welcome to the NCAA FCS Championship first round coverage on ESPN. If there's one thing they care about more than football in Fargo, North Dakota, it's the tailgating, and they're pretty dang good at that around here. The Drake fans have made their trip for the first ever FCS playoff appearance in program history, taking on the 17-time national champions here in Fargo, the North Dakota State Bison. Taking a look at the FCS bracket around us, the winner of our game today between NDSU and Drake takes on number 6 Montana State in Bozeman next week. Big one for the fans here in Fargo, just 79 miles north. It's Sacramento State and North Dakota today. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the Fargodome. Two-time All-American Charles Arbuckle and Noah Reed with you. What are we doing in Fargo in the first round? Because North Dakota State always has a first-round bye.
They're not accustomed to it. On the plane ride, you could even tell people are not familiar with coming this soon. It's usually a bye, and then they're in the playoff. They're ready, though. They're ready to play. They
are ready to play, and they've got one of the best defensive ends in the country on the other side that they have to deal with in Finn Claypool.
Yeah, Claypool, violent hands, the ability to get after the quarterback, does a nice job in the run game. But I think the thing that I like about him best is that his ability to get after the quarterback. They're going to need that today.
The other side, North Dakota State has a nasty offensive line that gets so much push.
They really do. If you want power running game, counter trade, you want any of that power, this offensive line gives it to you, and that's what everything is set up with the great offensive line of the Bison.
One thing to note about that offensive line, no Jake Kubis, who had started 41 consecutive games for the Bison. He's out with a foot injury today, so Jake Rock, the senior from Wisconsin, steps into the right guard position. Drake has never been here before. First ever FCS playoff appearance, and they're playing the team that has more experience than anybody. 9 national titles in the last 12 years, 17 all-time in program history, and the Bison faithful ready for football inside the Fargodome, and off we go in the FCS playoffs, and not the start you want if you're Drake with a kick out of bounds.
On the road, Noah, you have to be good on the road, special teams-wise. Not what you want right there.
So great starting field position for the Bison at the 35 to start. It is Cam Miller who leads them out onto the field, the senior quarterback who is one of the most efficient quarterbacks you'll find in the country.
Understands this offense, knows what Tyler Roll, the offensive coordinator, wants, and they just make it fast, and they get after you. Methodical, but they have explosives in this offense.
He has a chance to end up as one of the most winningest quarterbacks in FCS history by the time it's all wrapped up next year. First play of the day with a handoff. Tamarick Williams sheds one tackler. No, it's kept by the quarterback. And Cam Miller, football's lost. It's on the deck. And Drake's got it. Wow.
Have to play clean. And if you're Drake, you've got to make these turnovers happen. It was a nice job by Cam Miller of holding on to the football. He shows it and takes it away, and really nice job of coming over and knocking that ball out. Jacob Thompson with a huge play coming from behind. Cam doesn't expect him to be there. And I think he may have come up with the ball as well.
First play from line of scrimmage, and Drake gets a takeaway, and they start at midfield.
First time they don't score, North Dakota State does on their opening drive.
11 straight games that they had a touchdown on their opening drive, but that drive comes to an end after just one play.
Uncharacteristic. Oh, man.
Offside. Defense, number 53 with contact. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
No, you can't have a turnover on your first play, and then your second play, the first one on defense. You can't do that. You can't give a team like Drake any opportunity to think that they're in it.
So in 3 plays today, we've had a kickoff out of bounds, a fumble, and an offsides. First and 5 for Drake to start the day. Handoff, this is Dorian Boylan, straight up the gut, and he gets an extra push from his offensive line. Wow. What a run and what a push. The quarterback is Luke Bailey for Drake. He's a senior who took over the starting role with 3 games left last year, and he has gone 11-3 as the starter since.
Only a 55% passer, but you're going to see the arm angle from a lot of different slots. A very athletic player that makes plays.
A run of 11 from Boylan to start the day. Give it to him again. Cuts back to the left. Open seam in front of Boylan across the 20. And all the way down inside the 12. It's a run of 14 and a red zone trip already for the Bulldogs.
The one thing you want to do is get out in space. They start to the right. Look, hey, cuts right back. And if you get out in open space and everybody overruns it, you only got one guy to beat, beats him with Snooski, but he's able to slow him down enough to get the gains that come and tackle him. That's the thing you have to do if you're North Dakota State. Don't overrun the play. They will cut back.
Bailey to throw for the first time. Exits the pocket to the right. Throws back of the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Brandon Langdock.
You know, the one thing he will do is get out in open space and try to fling that ball. I was asking his coach, Coach Stepsis, did he play baseball? Because it almost looks like sometimes he's throwing it as a shortstop or a second baseman, turning the play.
He said he did, by the way. He does have some shortstop in his background. He's a baseball player.
Football, basketball, track and field. He played a lot of sports growing up.
Second and 10. Bailey facing some heat. Can't get away from it. He's dropped in the backfield. Jake Cava gets to him.
Yeah, this defensive line has just been nasty the last few weeks. And this offensive line is going to feel a lot. Jake Cava comes from the outside. They don't go past him. They rush and then turn. They're key at that. 5 sacks from 8 defensive linemen last week. Because you have half sacks if you think the math is funny. But they will get after you with the front 4. Sometimes 3 men come and get you.
Third down with the Fargodome coming to life. Need 11 yards. Bailey batted down at the line.
Yes. Most start. If you want to have a block party, defensive linemen love it. Wave your hands in the air and block the ball like you just don't care. That's the one thing you have to do if you're a defensive lineman. You can't get to the quarterback, but you can see his eyes.
So 2 big runs to start this drive after a turnover, but Drake has to settle for a field goal. This is Shane Dunning, who's 15 of 18 on the year. 30-yard attempts on the way, and he got it. Drake forces the turnover. They get 3 points out of it, and the Bulldogs with a nice start on the road in the first round. Back inside the Fargodome and on the road, 2.5 minutes in, Buck. How about the start for Drake? You force a turnover on defense and you turn it into points.
Well, you have to, and that's the one thing. They had a terrible special teams miscue first and then got things going, back-to-back plays, so you got to be happy if you're Drake.
Yeah, they started the game with a kickoff out of bounds, allowed the Bison to start at the 35. But on the first play of the game, a Cam Miller fumble, Drake turns it into a field goal. Much better kickoff this time. But it takes a bounce out of bounds short of the goal line. So again.
Free kick out of bounds. Kicking team number 99. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down, North Dakota State.
That's 2 in a row. Special teams coach can't be happy with that. Michael McCourt going to have a conversation with this kicker.
I mean, it worked the first time.
Yeah. No free yards in football.
The first time all year North Dakota State did not score on their opening drive. It lasted just 1 play. It was a Cam Miller fumble. He fakes the toss, rolls right, dumps it off to his tight end. And a gain of just 1 for Joe Stuffle.
Yeah, they usually do a good job here and then get Stuffle out in space, but really nice job. Radicha out there right on the edge making that tackle as soon as Stuffle caught the ball.
This is an offense that loves to get its tight end involved.
They do. They want to get their guys involved. A lot of trade and motion with those guys as well, and they run block effectively.
Direct snap to Rajah Nelson. The wide receiver sees a seam in front of him, and he got tripped up by Tyler Radica. So that's Matt Entz, year number 5 with North Dakota State, 2-time National Coach of the Year, 2-time National Champion. Also spent 5 years as the DC here under Chris Kleiner.
Yeah, they want to keep it in 3rd and short. And this is the one thing, you saw that last play, pin and pull, try to get it outside. It comes at you quick because you are so used to power A, and then they'll come outside with that. Let's see what they do on 3rd down.
It's TK Marshall backed up in the line. In the backfield. Miller keeps it, stretches to the edge, lunges forward, reaches the ball out, and he's got enough for a 1st down.
What I remember about last year watching North Dakota State and on film, the ball handling ability of Cam Miller is really deceptive. And he's a very good runner when he gets out in open space.
Yeah, Matt Entz said that's probably the most underrated part of his game. He doesn't get enough credit for how much damage he could do with his legs.
5.6 yards per carry on the year. Usually a quarterback doesn't have that average because he's tackled a lot for sacks, but he does a nice job in the run game for him.
First down. Here's Miller, clean pocket, surveying, launches deep downfield looking for Mathis, pulls it in.
Heck of a catch by Mathis. Mathis goes up, 1 foot down. They're trying to go fast because he may have stepped on that edge, but that was a heck of a catch by Mathis.
All the way down to the 20. Marshall, and they blow the play dead.
Before the snap, replay buzz the on-field officials. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, man, he was real close to the sideline on that one. And that's what I thought from the naked eye. I said he went up and got it, but that right foot.
See where that right foot.
And white cleats.
White shoes, yeah.
If he had on black ones, we might be able to discern what happened. A heck of an effort by a 6'7" guy. And he's really caught it with one hand.
The left hand.
Yeah.
The initial ruling on the field, which is always important in situations like this, was a catch. And I think another thing to look at too, Buck, did he have immediate possession? Because Tony Graham kind of had his hand in there scrapping for the ball too.
Well, it was a heck of a job by Graham of fighting for it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. First down, North Dakota State.
I think to your point, not enough to overturn it either.
Right.
I thought what he did a nice job of is not trying to do anything with it, but secure it right away. That was a heck of a job by Graham of going up, climbing the ladder with a guy that's 6'7". But excellent play by Zach Mathis.
So the 33-yard catch stands. Both quarterbacks in there now for North Dakota State, Cam Miller and the sophomore Cole Payton. Payton, this is what he's out there to do. He will always run it. Has a seam and he bursts through it. Touchdown, Bison.
Noah, you said it best. They have two guys back there. They pin and pull you, and then they just run around the edge. Look at the fake here, and then the guys getting out front. I love when the big guys get out front. One block there, one block there. Just block after block. And Cole Payton, pretty fast. Pretty fast, 6. They get on you, they lean on you, and they don't stop. And that's the one thing they will try to do quickly. Explosives come in the run game just as much as the pass game.
He hasn't thrown a pass in the last 3 weeks, but they still get him involved on the ground plenty. 2 rushing touchdowns last week against Northern Iowa, and he's got one early today as well.
When you have a guy that can run the ball, put it in his hands. Let him go to the house. Look at the big lineman up front. We talked about the Bison up front. You can't get around them, but you can get in the end zone. 7-3.
Coach Stepsis in year 5 as the head coach for Drake, and what a job he's done turning this program around, Buck. They had lost 14 consecutive games heading into the final 3 weeks last year. They've gone in 11-3 since.
I like what he said. We look within. We didn't think about it coming from somewhere else. Even the players, when you listen to them talk this week, it was a lot about that. That's how they were able to do it, and I think that's what makes this so nice. They're playing with house money right now.
Yeah. He said that they went through a stretch during all those losses, all those losing seasons, and the guys that are on the team now that are in their first ever playoff appearance were those same guys. He said, I'm so proud of them to go through that and come out on the other side of it.
They just battle.
Says Deion Campbell. He lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback to start the drive for the Bulldogs. Well, they started 0-3, did Drake. They won 8 consecutive games in conference play, and down the stretch, they needed a win to get in against Butler last week, and they did that. An early touchdown pass from Luke Bailey to Hunter Johnson, and then in the fourth quarter, a Dorian Boylan touchdown, won it 13-9 for Drake.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, the Pioneer League is not as strong as maybe the Missouri Valley Conference, but they felt like they were able to run the table there and do a nice job against some really tough competition. Let's see how it helps them today against North Dakota State.
Mitchell January in motion, the top receiver this year. Bailey dropped the football. Galvin came up with it, but he lost a couple yards.
Uncharacteristic of Bailey so far. That was not a, you got to hold on to the football.
You called him the X factor earlier today. You said if Drake has any chance of success today, it has to go through Luke Bailey.
I agree, because you cannot run against these guys, but you have to protect the passer, and they've done that. They've not allowed a sack in 5 games, gave up one on the first drive. Let's see if they can protect him and get him throwing the football effectively.
Only 4 sacks given up all year by this offensive lineman. NDSU gets some pressure on Bailey, heaves it to the sideline. It's intercepted. Jaden Price comes down with his 2nd pick of the year.
He's the most experienced guy in that secondary and understands how to make plays. And if you're Bailey, throw the ball away. Don't throw it to the sideline to give them an opportunity.
Now the officials are together.
On the field is an interception.
So after a quick discussion, they say interception. Let's see here. Foot down, possession of the ball.
Control the football, had possession. Ball comes out at the end.
Yeah.
But it comes out after he hits the ground. And I don't think they're going to. Yeah, they're saying go fast, so they don't have a chance to take a look at it. Yeah.
And now they're going to look it over.
I was surprised that North Dakota State didn't go quickly, because it happened on their sideline. Again, you have to survive through the catch, right? We've seen that now. But the one thing is, even before that, Luke Bailey can't make those mistakes. You cannot throw the ball up for grabs against a team like this, because they're so good, plus 10 on the year, and their guys go get it. Now he's going to catch it, secure it here, but when he hits the ground, watch the ball come out. Right there. So if you're Drake, you're hoping that you get an overturn, because everything was clean until he hit the ground.
Yeah, had possession, clearly had the foot in all the way to the ground, and as soon as Jaden Price hits the ground, the ball comes loose right there.
They were +4 last week versus UNI. And you cannot, I repeat, you cannot do that. That's going to be a reverse for them. They're very fortunate there.
The fans are about to find out that this call is going to get reversed here inside the Fargodome.
I mean, after we saw the replay, and Jaden knows it as well, got to hold on to it all the way through. You know, the ground can't cause a fumble, but it can be taken away from you.
Right.
Oh, man. But again, this defense has started because the defensive line got after them, and I think they feel really confident in their defensive ends. Luke Bailey has to protect the football.
So defense is back out there on the field. We still haven't heard the announcement, but it's coming right now.
Yeah, it's coming.
After review, the ruling on the field has changed. The defender did not survive the ground, and the ball came out. Therefore, it is an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down for Drake.
Yeah. This team is getting hot. That's North Dakota State on defense. Defense had 4 interceptions and a pick 6 last week. You cannot put the ball in the air and allow them to become offensive-minded on the back end.
Knocked off back-to-back ranked teams the last 2 weeks heading into the playoffs. Here's a 3rd and 13. Bailey flushed out of the pocket. Sidearm throw on the run. Pulled in by Johnson. He's got the first down to the 40 for 18 yards.
What you have to do is move the pocket, or Luke Bailey says, I'm going to move the pocket. Because right there, right away, you have pressure right in the interior of your defense. And Mostart always does that. But then it was a nice throw and catch by Johnson and Bailey. And you've got to get out the pocket. When you do, find your man and not theirs.
Hunter Johnson, the 5th-year man from Oklahoma, moves the chains on a 3rd and 13. Hand off to Galvin. Runs right into a brick wall. That is the NDSU defensive line led by Mostart.
Mostart is a king of spin. We'll see it today. He'll do some spin moves, play basketball and track growing up. Some of the undersized D linemen are very good athletes because they weren't highly recruited, but they had to play a lot of different sports. He's one of them.
Sat out a lot of last year with an injury, and Matt Entz told us we're starting to see the Eli of old again the last couple weeks. Fake, throw to the sideline. It's caught by Radica. Sheds one tackler and drags another with him all the way down to the 48 for a 3rd and short.
Yeah, he was able to go by Wisniewski, excuse me. And that's the one thing you have to do, make guys miss an open space.
I mean, you get 7 or 8 extra yards there after contact.
This is a young guy that's starting to play safety, played linebacker. Wisniewski is one of those guys that's got married in a bye week. Very good player.
You seen that before?
No, he learned it from a guy before him here.
Boylan straight up the middle, marked at the 50. That's enough to move the chains.
It was interesting. He moved to safety right before the spring, and he has just been on a tear. 5 interceptions, a pick 6 last week for 75-yard touchdown. Still learning the position, but it's interesting now to see they're starting to move the ball a little bit now. After that interception or almost interception, they've been able to really be effective on those last few plays.
Avoided disaster on an interception that got called back, and now the Drake offense moving the ball to midfield. To Boylan, sidesteps one defender, makes a cut up the middle. Give him 8 yards on first down with another productive run for the junior.
This offensive line, you got to give them some credit because what they're doing is coming off the ball and firing, and then look at Boylan. Nice step and then keep going through, carrying people with it.
Both coaches this week told us the battle of the trenches is probably the most important thing.
Cody Heisman making that tackle late, but yes, very much so, really key in the trenches.
Couple big runs from Boylan and Galvin on this drive. Bailey facing trouble. He got stripped. Picked up by North Dakota State. And all the way down to the 25 for Loshaka Rokes. Cole Min stripped it Rokes recovers it, and NDSU's got the football at the 25.
Well, again, you can't be loose with the football here against this team that will get after you. You see the ball come out there by Mintz, and then Rokes with the nice job of picking it up. And they all want to turn into offensive players, which I love. He's trying to get to the house. Good game-saving tackle, or touchdown tackle right there at the very end. But Rokes, nice job of picking it up and going with the ball. And Dorian Borland with a nice tackle to save a touchdown.
Cole Payton comes back out there, the quarterback who just had his first career playoff touchdown last drive. Hands it off on the end around to Eli Green, and he gets spun out of bounds just a couple yards picked up.
Yeah, nice job by the defense of just stringing that play out. You know Payton is on the inside. They want to get outside with some speed. Great Bulldog defense did a really nice job of only giving up a couple yards.
So now Cam Miller back in there, the starter for NDSU. It's a 2nd and 8. Gives it to Marshall, bounces off of one and hops down to the 16. He's about a yard shy of the first down.
Very good patience with Marshall there, knowing that the hole is going to be there. And now they're going to go quick. Their tempo is a little bit different, but they like to do it.
They usually huddle, not often they go up tempo. The lunge from Miller down to the 15. That's right at the line to gain. And they signal first down.
And Miller, being a son of a coach, a high school football coach, understands that. That's what they really love about him. That's anytime you talk to the staff, they talk about his football IQ. Got him off sides.
On a 1st and 10, they get Drake to jump.
Offside. Defense, number 94. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Nolan Korzanowski jumps off sides, makes it a 1st and 5 at the 10.
Yeah, the biggest thing I had on my board is that the front 7 has to hold up against the O-line in the run game. And so far, that's been a tough task with this ball club.
North Dakota State, number 2 in the country. When they get into the red zone, they usually turn it into points 94% of the time. Empty backfield on a 1st down. Miller follows a block to the right. Patient run, and he gets dragged down from behind by Finn Claypool.
Yeah, we haven't called Finn Claypool's name a lot, but that's one of the things he does well in the run game is he'll track down the run and go after the quarterback, and they needed him on that one.
One of the best pass rushers in the nation. 12.5 sacks this year for Claypool, but he's great in the run game too.
Hadn't been able to get much because they've been in a situation where they've been in 2nd and short, 3rd and short most of the time.
Nelson gets it on the end around. The wide receiver looking for the pylon, and he's in.
We talked to Tyler Rowe about using different guys. Rajah Nelson's name came up, and that's one of the things they like to do. If he can get outside, there's nobody that's going to catch him. Look, everything on the inside, you've got guys out in front. Brandon Westberg, one of them, and he's able to just outrun the defender for 6.
Needed just 5 plays to go 25 yards and turn a turnover into points. Extra point goes straight down the middle, and North Dakota State has scored 14 unanswered since giving up the Drake field goal early. 3:40 to play in the first quarter. Back-to-back touchdown drives for the Bison. This one coming from Rajah Nelson. Who knew Santa and Mrs. Claus were Bison fans?
Where are the elves?
Here in the Fargodome. Look at all the trees out there as well. Holiday season, we're a month away from Christmas to the day, November 25th. I was going to say they're used to football this time of year, but this is actually too early for football in the Fargodome in the playoffs.
Slightly early, about a week too early, right?
Says Dayon Campbell, about 3 yards deep in the end zone. Gets a block, stretches, bounces outside, and a nice return for him near the 25. All right, so here we go, Buck. Drake started out 3-0. They got a turnover, turned it into a field goal, but back-to-back Bison touchdowns. What's got to be the recipe here for Drake?
They've got to hold off that front 3 or front 4 and allow Luke Bailey some time, or move the pocket and get him out of there so he feels more comfortable, because you can't have him throwing the ball up in the air and giving it back to North Dakota State.
Drake had only given up 4 sacks all year long, the fewest in the nation. They've given up 2 in the first quarter so far today.
Got to protect the football every single time, especially when you're on the road.
Handoff to Boylan. Great gap up the middle. He's got a first down. And they're having a lot more success running the football than what you and I thought pregame. We thought it might be a lot of Luke Bailey in the pass game.
Yeah, I think because of the run fits. Look, they're showing them one thing, and then Dorian Bailey is also able to work through there. Wisniewski misses the gap. That was the A gap he should have been in. He was going to the B gap, and that allowed Boylan a chance to take that run. Now the one thing is, Luke Bailey has been the one that hasn't protected the football. He must do that in order for this team to have a chance.
3 runs of at least 10 yards for Boylan in this first quarter. Give it to him one more time with a stutter step behind the line, and he gets dragged down by Logan Kopp.
What you want to do is force them to come up, because they like to run the cover too high, where they'll bring that safety down, one or the other one, either Young or Wisniewski. The one thing you want to do is force them to bring one of those guys down sooner, so then you can try to throw over the top. So those cover too highs, you got those 2 safeties that are high, and there's 7 in the box, but they play so well with those 7. Got another one. These are the things you can't do. Right. Self-inflicted wounds, to me, on the road are just killers.
False start. Offense, number 5. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
You know, when you come to this building, you have to play almost perfect. I mean, 2 kickoffs out of bounds, 2 or 3 penalties now, a fumble, an interception that was called back, so almost 2 turnovers.
And when we talked to their staff, they knew that they could have some success running the football. They felt like, hey, we got bludgeoned early in the year against the teams out of that conference, but we understand what we have to go against and not beat ourselves.
Yeah, they lost to North Dakota in week 1, South Dakota State in week 3. Screen pass, it's caught on the outside by Hunter Johnson. He gets just a couple yards back to bring up a 3rd and long.
Yeah, really good tackle. In space, they expect their safeties to come down well. That time Wisniewski is there, Johnny on the spot. I think this guy's got a lot of potential from a standpoint of how he learned how to play linebacker and now playing safety.
Yeah, former linebacker turned safety, and Jason Petrino, the defensive coordinator, said we just had a conversation with him one day, and as soon as we asked him what he thought about it, he was all in on making the change. Now
they go with 3 down linemen, maybe 4, and sometimes they'll run one out. You still have to protect, and your numbers have to be clean.
3rd and long. It's broken up. Jaquise Alexander got his hand in there to swipe it away, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Mitchell January is a key weapon for him. What you need is a guy that can make plays for you, but this ball is out too quick. Actually has a chance to make that catch. Probably should have come up with it.
That's just a great play by Alexander, too.
Who's playing a lot, has started lately because he has just really started to play well like that.
Yep. It's allowed them to move Jaden Price to the nickel a little bit more, and it's just a formation they like better. So Drake has to punt it away on 4th down. Jaden Price calling for the fair catch at the 23. Feels really early to be saying this, Buck, but it feels like for Drake you have to get a stop here, right? You just cannot allow 7 points again.
Yeah, because if you get too far behind and you become one-dimensional, we talked about it, the run game has done well for Drake, but now they've got to find a way to either get a turnover or a stop to keep it back, give it back to their offense.
Back-to-back touchdown drives for the Bison after falling behind 3-0. Fake to Marshall. Miller's got all the time in the world. Steps up in the pocket, slings it, pulled in near midfield. Eli Green with an open seam in front of him, and he's all the way down to the 34.
Love how they set these plays up with Tyler Roll and flood the zone, and then you have a late overcoming that you could just hit open space, and he's running. Eli Green is running. He's saying, hey, where is everybody? Come join me for this party. The thing is, that's an open play because your defense gets off kilter with the high and the low, and then it forces him to just come in an open space.
43 yards on the opening play of the drive. Barika Penu gets his first carry of the game, and he's upended after a pickup of just one.
Shefty with a nice job of getting some penetration and able to stop him before he got going. 54.
He was a high school safety, and you can tell by his size. He's smaller, just 216 pounds, but they moved him to defensive end when he came to Drake, and he's done a really nice job off the edge.
Good with his hands, and he showed it there, was able to get back there. They needed him to do that.
That's the end of the first quarter.
It's not been a good first quarter for Drake.
North Dakota State on the first play of the game had a fumble where they gave the football away, but since then the Bison have answered with a couple touchdowns. The first one from Cole Payton, his first playoff touchdown ever. They get the strip sack and turn it into points on a Rajah Nelson touchdown run. 14-3 North Dakota State. Welcome back to the NCAA FCS Championship first round coverage on ESPN+. Gorgeous day from the Fargodome. We're talking temperatures in the 30s in late November. You take it around here.
I was here last year. Yes, I will take it.
Cole Payton, the quarterback, is in there. Fakes the handoff, goes to the right, gets wrapped up, and he's dropped for a loss of 6 by Jacob Thompson.
Yeah, Jacob Thompson with a key play earlier today. And again, coming off the edge, just plays well, stays in contain, and gets 9 on 9. The one in blue wins that one. Really good job of understanding also, too, you are the last guy on the edge, and if Payton gets outside of you, there's no one there to protect you.
A senior who's coming off a career-high 9 tackles last week and a win and get-in game against Butler for Drake.
Finn Claypool time now. 90 loves this situation so he can get after the quarterback.
12.5 sacks this year, top 3 in the nation for Claypool. Miller hit as he throws, deep ball down the sideline, it's pulled in. Rajah Nelson's second touchdown today.
Miller took a shot, but delivered a strike on that play. This kid is tough, man. I've watched him over the last 2 years and then watched him this season. He took a shot and able to deliver to Rajah Nelson. You're going to see a delayed blitz coming late by Caleb Bowling, excuse me. And it just a step late, but an outstanding throw by Cam Miller.
Some cause for concern. Miller was holding that left shoulder as he was walking off the field. 21 straight for the Bison. Rajah Nelson with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown in the first half today for North Dakota State.
They said they put more on his plate, allowing him to have that game-changing speed be the difference there. That was a play there, man. Zager had no chance once Rajah Nelson was by him. Cam Miller, it's interesting to see. Not a guy you want to lose. Hopefully he is okay.
You can't really see him, but behind all those guys in the yellow shirts standing up is Cam Miller, and they're checking out that left shoulder. Matt Ence's team has responded with 21 unanswered points on 3 consecutive touchdown drives.
Well, they said they were playing a little angry by not getting a higher seed and only having one home game. And that's the concern if you're a Drake team that's not been in this situation. You played them last year, the regular season, but you hadn't played them in the playoffs.
Well, that was the thing all week. Matt Entz was asked a couple times during press conferences how he felt about his team not getting a top 8 seed. He wouldn't come out and say it. He kept saying over and over again, we're excited for another opportunity to play in the Fargodome. But you know in that locker room, that's a locker room that wasn't happy.
I read between the lines on that one, and I still do. That's like, hey, we're going to come out, and if you're not ready, we are going to kick your butt.
They beat Drake pretty handily last year in the season opener, but this is a very different Bulldogs team. 11-3 in their last 14, went 8-0 in conference play this year, as Christian Galvan gets a second effort across the 30 for 6 yards.
And that's the one thing they haven't been able to do consistently, even in their wins. They've had a good running attack, but they're running the football pretty effectively today.
Yeah.
They're just not protecting the football. They're 107th rushing, but already close to the number that they would normally be in today's game, just because they're effectively trying to run the football.
Bailey splits everybody out, fakes the handoff, quick screen, Radica moving upfield, rips away from one tackler, and he's got a first down.
I told you the one thing that we talked about all week is get out in open space, because you can make NDSU miss you sometimes there. They're very solid, and then also they haven't really attacked the middle of the field yet with the tight end position, which I think is a real critical place for them as well.
I want to go back to what you said last play. Having more success, they've almost reached their rushing average. Why is that?
Well, they're just able to get the ball out quick. Now, Bailey he's been sacked for almost 19 yards, so that negates that. But the running game, when it runs, they've been able to do that.
Back-to-back catches for Radica. Nobody was there on the sideline, and he gets shoved out of bounds at the 49 for a first down.
Hey, and the thing about North Dakota State is they'll let you go from 20 to 20. But when you get inside their red zone, they come after you. Radica is the beneficiary of a quick throw on the outside, and it's zone, so you have nobody out in that area, and Bailey knows that, and they move the pocket for him.
The best way I can describe NDSU's defense, bend, don't break, because like you said, you can pick up yards, but getting points isn't easy against them. Give the ball to Dorian Boylan. Patient run as he searches for a couple yards. He gets 3 on first down.
Yeah, the other thing about that, Noah, is that they're fundamentally sound. And so they just force you to have to work methodically to get down the field.
Well, this is one of those things. Usually you see the rush in the pass defense, one of the top 5 or 10 in the country. 18th and 24th this year, but they're still only allowing 20 points a game.
Well, they said after the bye week they started doing things differently too. They challenged themselves as a staff and as a group of players to get better than what they were playing at that time.
Second down. Bailey flush to the right, and he makes the wise move to just get rid of it. Third down.
Logan Kopp got away with a hold on the tight end. Neslich, I mean, he grabbed him and was holding him. And I'm watching because in that area, I thought 2nd and 6, they would try to go to the tight end. He was running a sail route. And on linebackers, I love it because they'll say they never hold, but they always tell us we push off.
Drake is 2 for 4 on third down today. Needs 6 yards. Quick pass over the middle, incomplete. Looking for Hunter Johnson. It's 4th down. Marcus Shepard had the coverage.
Man, Marcus Shepard, he ran the route for him. I mean, he was in his hip pocket and just came and broke on the football. Nice job by Marcus Shepard out of Novi, Michigan.
So 3 straight drives for Drake that have ended in fumble, punt, punt.
Like how Petrino and his defense, they turn it up a notch when it comes to third down. That's a money down for him to get off the field.
Chance for Drake to flip the field here. Jaden Price is back for the punt, calls for the fair catch, and he runs it down at the 10. 11:21 to go in the first half. NDSU's offense is on fire. 3 straight touchdown drives.
Media timeout.
21-3, North Dakota State all over Drake in the opening round of the FCS playoffs. You couldn't start the game any worse, Buck. Fumble in the first play from line of scrimmage, but 3 straight touchdown drives since.
They came on a tear and just said, we're going to start scoring on you. Stop us.
Says Cole Payton bounces away from one tackler, sees a gap in front of him, and he's across the 15 for 7 yards.
Should have been stopped for a 2 or 3 yard gain, able to get away from the defender and then pick up more. Colin Shrimp, I think, had him dead to right in the backfield and couldn't come down with him.
Drake's defensive coordinator, Al Smith, kind of made that point. He said, we just cannot allow North Dakota State to turn those 1 or 2 yard runs into 5, 6, 7 yards.
Yeah, and they have to stay away from explosive plays as well, which we've seen throughout this game.
Second and 3. Payton pulls it again, curls the corner. He's got the first down.
Joe Stuffle with the edge block knocks the defender almost into Cole Payton on that play.
So Payton goes out after a couple runs. He picks up the first down. Cam Miller comes back in. He hurt his shoulder on that touchdown pass last drive, but he's back out there.
Yeah, he's a tough guy, and he's going to show up and play every single day. They may have to take him off the field.
Perfect start for him. 4 for 4, 118 yards and a passing touchdown. Looks to throw here. He's flushed out to the right, being chased down, gets rid of it on the run, completes it. It's a first down to Rajah Nelson.
Yeah. Rajah is a security blanket today, and he does a nice job of just sitting in the pocket, sitting in the zone. And this is a great job by Cam Miller throwing on the run. See how he just sits down? Make yourself available. Quarterback will find you.
He does such a great job of extending plays. He doesn't use the legs all the time, but when he does so effectively.
Well, right away he knew he wanted to get outside, because if he got outside, he would have a receiver waiting for him. And he had that dinner reservation. He made sure to get there on time.
Give to Williams, sheds away from one, and he hops down to the 40.
But those are the plays for Drake. When you come with all that pressure, you don't get to him. Kind of demoralized.
Timeout for a defensive injury. Media.
Jason Christensen, the senior from Texas, is down for Drake. We'll take the timeout with him. NDSU up 21-3 and driving. The NCAA FCS Championship coverage continues next weekend with the second round coverage beginning on Saturday on ESPN+. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home of all 90 NCAA championships. Winner of this one heads to Bozeman, Montana, take on number 6 Montana State. It'll be the first time that the top 8 seeds will be in action in these playoffs after a first round bye. So 2nd and 5. Cole Payton's in there at quarterback now. And before the snap, looks like we got a false start.
False start. Offense. Number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Mason Miller. You know, so much trade, shift, move over. You have a different quarterback. Sometimes the cadence can get to you. I'm just making excuses for his mama. You know, we don't want to call your name out, Mason, because offensive linemen only get called out when they do something like that.
That's right. Not this O-line, though.
No.
I think people know how good the NDSU offensive line is.
And you throw the tight ends in that group, too, because they have a good physical front that gets after you.
Sure, the former tight end saying that. Cam Miller steps up in the pocket, exits to the right, and he's dragged down. Colin Shrimp off the edge with the sack.
Yeah, they needed Colin Shrimp to make that play, because if not, Cam Miller's still running. He comes late to the party, but he gets there because of pressure by Caleb Bowling, forces him out of the pocket along with J.R. Flood. They needed that, Drake did, defensively. Now they've got to find a way to get off the field on 3rd down.
First sack today for Drake. It's a 3rd and long for the Bison. Drake showing blitz.
Double A dog. They like to come in between the center, but they may jump out or do something different here. They're giving a look.
They send 6. Miller backpedaling, hit as he throws. Pass is caught. Braylon Henderson, 1 yard past the marker to keep the drive going.
They overload the A-gap with 3 defenders, and Cam Miller still able to get it off. Look at this. They're able to pick up everybody, and Cam Miller knows he's going to get hit again. Wow. Braylon Henderson just able to make the play because those guys have to run off. You have to respect that they'll go deep, but Cam Miller with a strike.
Took a shot from Tyler Radica, too, and still completed it. He's over on the sideline now with Cole Payton in at quarterback. Payton follows a block out in front of him. Gets an extra shove down to midfield for 4 yards.
Yeah, those are the plays you said Drake had to get off the field.
Yeah.
North Dakota State said, no, we'll keep it rolling.
And Matt Ince brought that up with us in the meetings. He said there was a 3rd and 19 we converted last week and multiple 3rd and 11, 3rd and 14s. He said it doesn't matter if we're 3rd and long. We don't like to get in those situations, but we know we can convert them.
They said their wide receiver room is probably the best it's been.
Yeah.
And I think that shows. We've seen multiple guys making plays from the wide receiver position today,
including Rajah Nelson, who's already got 2 touchdowns. Payton fakes it to him. He keeps the football, has the first down, tiptoes the sideline, and he gets shoved out by Jacob Thompson at the 32.
The thing is, you fake to Rajah Nelson to force the defense to go to the left. Right there, everybody goes over, and then you can see you've got a one-on-one block, and then you have other guys on the outside. That's what they do such a good job of. Tight ends, receivers, running backs, everybody gets into the block party.
That was Carson Williams, the tight end, who had the block on that play.
Yeah, Weirmeyer also started it. They have 2 guys that usually are pressure point blockers, and they were key on that play.
Penu bouncing away from 1, angles to the left. He's across the 20, gives a stiff arm to Radica, and he's near the 15.
What you do is you force everybody to think you're going inside, and then you have a guy that has a little bit more speed that can bounce outside.
Yeah, Barika Penu, by far the fastest of the 3 running backs that we see for the Bison.
He flashes. He comes on, and it's like a different level. And I think the defense even notices that as well, because they're so used to seeing one speed other than Rajah Nelson or Braylon Henderson, guys that can really move, and then all of a sudden you see this running back coming at you with that speed as well.
Williams leaping over the pile down to the 13.
And you talk about just overrunning the A-gap right there. Blockers, linemen, and then a big back. And Tamarick Williams, 22. About 6'1", 227 out of Angleton. That's right up the road from where I grew up, Missouri City.
There we go.
Yeah. They had a great basketball team, always tough in football. Guys that could run track as well.
Fake to Marshall. Miller rolling left, now looking back right, has him wide open. Touchdown TK Marshall.
Such a nice job of rolling one way. Flag on the play, so it could come back.
And the Bison are starting to walk back that way, it looks.
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
My concern when it takes that long, and that's Jake Rock, who's playing for Jake Kubas today. When it takes that long for the play to develop, it's hard for your offensive lineman to stay in position.
Yeah, first start of the year for Jake Rock. Like you said, taking the spot of Jake Kubas, who had 41 consecutive starts coming into the day, but out with a foot injury.
Trade and shift, moving around, so let's see what they do with that. Only 5, maybe 6 in the box right there.
2nd and long. Miller's got time, snaps it over the middle. It's caught at the 5. And a pile of white jerseys there to make the tackle. Jacob Strite with his first catch today.
Well, they said they wanted this tight end room to make some plays, and Strite with a nice catch.
We've said Stuffle's name a couple times on the block. He had a catch. Carson Williams just had a really nice block, and now the catch for Strike.
Yeah, they said Carson Williams playing with some physicality in the run game and want to get him some touches as well. I think that's what they do such a nice job of in this offense, of using those guys effectively.
It's a 1st and goal from the 4. Williams gets the toss, leaps for the end zone, touchdown Bison.
Yeah, you know it's coming, but that doesn't mean you can stop it. When they get here, man, it just, look at those offensive linemen and tight ends, that combination of guys, just power game, and it just forces your running back to find a hole, get in for 6.
5th touchdown of the year for Tamarick Williams. And after Drake scored a field goal 2.5 minutes into this game, it has been all North Dakota State. 28 consecutive for the Bison. It's the ground game once again. Tamarick Williams from 4 yards out has the Bison up big. Tamarick Williams with the most recent North Dakota State touchdown has the Bison up 28-3 with 4:10 to go before halftime, and the Bison, after that first play turnover, have really settled in.
Yeah, they settled down and got back to what they are accustomed to doing.
It's Deion Campbell with his heels in the end zone. He takes the knee, and it's a touchback to start the Drake drive after this. 4:10 to play, trying to cut into a 25-point deficit. We have our first final of the first round, and Bison fans, don't all cheer at once, okay? 70 miles north, Sacramento State goes on the road and takes down UND 42-35.
It's a big win for Sac State.
They advance on to the second round, and it was a question if Sac State would even get in. They did, and they got a first-round win. Says Dorian Boylan tried to stretch it outside, but Javier Derrick runs right into him.
And that was also the other thing. UC Davis thought they should have been in. My old buddy Dan Hawkins, I thought, would have a chance, but Sacramento State ended up beating Troy Taylor at Stanford now, who was a coach there last year. Got a chance to call a few of those games, man. They were exciting.
Yeah, Sac State lost to UC Davis last week, and a lot of people thought that head-to-head should have been the decision maker. UC Davis doesn't get in, Sac State does, and Hornets go on the road in Grand Forks and get a first-round win. Bailey looking to throw on second down, zips it to the sideline. He has Radico, tiptoes the sideline and reels it in.
Radico is a real key player for him out of Austin, Texas. We talk about the arm angle and just getting the ball out there, protected well and just over the top of Jaden Price's hand.
And if you're looking for a positive, Buck, for Drake, they got a chance to score before the half, and they get the football to start the third quarter. You can do a little bit of damage.
I'm sure that's what their coaching staff is telling them. Let's score, keep our defense off, score here, and then we get the ball back.
First down, fake the handoff, airs it out down the sideline. It's caught. Colin Howard on a big play for Drake down to the 30.
Got hurt early and coming back well, and again, nice throw by Bailey. They're going quick because they may look at that again. Did he get both feet? Did he get the first foot down in time? He had it.
Oh yeah,
he got it.
It's good
clearly.
on Sundays.
Oh man, yeah, nice play.
29 yards, biggest play of the day for Drake. Now they go to the ground with Galvan. Bounced away from one, and the second effort gives him a couple yards.
Sometimes when you play a team like this, you get punched in the mouth a few times, and then you have to say, okay, that's all they got, let's go. And I think that's what I see with Drake on this drive. Now they have to finish. No field goal, has to be a touchdown.
That's the nothing to lose mentality, right?
Exactly. They said they were going to just have everything and play loose. This is your chance to play loose if you're Drake.
Can they put 7 points on the board in these final 2 minutes before halftime? Quick slant, that's caught. It's Johnson, and he's twisted down across the 20 to the 19 for a first down.
And I've seen Bailey get like this. Only a 55% passer, but he'll get hot. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I'm diamond now. I'm dealing. Whatever you throw at me, I will get it to the receiver.
He had a game against St. Thomas, who ended up second place in the Pioneer Football League, where he threw for 411 yards and 5 touchdowns. He has that capability. Bailey stepping up now, using the legs to extend the play. He angles out near the 15, picks up a few yards on first down.
Yeah, and what they're doing also, too, just the threat of run is not allowing this defensive front to just come all after him. They're protecting better on this drive as well. I wouldn't be surprised here, though, if you see NDSU start coming with some pressure and maybe just doing things a little bit differently. Not from the safety position, but watch the linebackers creep up there and come a little bit late.
They do have a couple sacks against the least sacked team in the nation. Bailey 3 for 3, 53 yards on this drive alone, but there's a full start to back up the Bulldogs.
How many times have we seen this?
False start. Offense, number 62, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
You can't do that if you're playing a team like this. And NDSU knows it. Their fans know it. I love that their fans get involved and make it difficult for the team. It's not a completely sold-out crowd, but it is a very loud crowd.
Bison Nation always turns out. It's a 2nd and 11. Bailey faces heat, has to get rid of it, caught by Neslage, and he's down to the 15. They get all the penalty yardage back, and they make this a third down manageable.
See those linebackers coming, but that was a really nice play of getting it to the tight end in a position where they vacate, we get the ball to you. Watch those linebackers coming in the A-gap. Bailey backs up, throws it to Neslage for some yardage to pick up, getting them closer to third and short.
Drake takes its first time out with 1:03 to go before halftime, ahead of a big 3rd and 6 play. So here, if they pick up a couple yards, is this 4-down territory? It almost has to be, right?
It almost feels like it in this game.
Yeah.
Because it's so far. You don't want it to get so far out of reach. It's 28-3. And the key is, that was a really smart play.
Yeah.
Allow Bailey to just know that they're going to come with those 2 inside backers. That's their MO in this area. Now, what are they going to do here, and how do you get to maybe 4th and short or pick up the first down?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they potentially run it here or short pass play, right, to get 2 or 3 yards.
Get closer. They've had a lot of pass interference penalties called against them this year as well.
On 3rd and 6, Bailey rolling right, completes it to Hughes. First down. They don't need to worry about a 4th down.
Well, again, Bailey scrambling and moving out of the pocket makes it much tougher for this NDSU defense. They're used to seeing Cam Miller do this as well, but they don't have a lot of guys that they've seen it consistently, and Bailey was struggling early. Now he's starting to feel it a little bit.
Well, he was staying in the pocket early.
Yeah,
and now we've seen him get out and move.
And he's doing it not looking to run like you said, but looking to throw.
1st and goal from the 8. Under a minute before halftime, Drake gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter. A chance to get 2 scores potentially. Fade, end zone, batted up. Jaden Price, interception. He had one called back earlier. He's got one now.
Man, I'm going to tell you, if you're going to challenge these boys, you better do it the right way. Jaden Price with a heck of an interception. Bailey, you got to give your receiver a chance on the sideline to make a play. You can't let Jaden Price be the one to do it. Great job by Jaden Price.
Did he have the ball? Let's see here.
That's the one thing he was.
Juggle right there. Is that right foot still down?
Man.
Left foot came up in the air. Was the right foot still down on the grounds? The ruling on the field is interception.
Well, and the foot coming through on that forced him to have to.
Well, Bison fans here inside the Fargodome are reacting as if the foot was down. We're seeing a lot of clapping.
They're not looking at it either.
That surprises me a little bit.
Mitchell January with a nice job of just putting his foot up because he had no chance to do anything else. He held on to it all the way through.
Miller stepping up in the pocket, now sprints ahead. Nobody's there in front of him. He runs out near the 32. He's got a first down. And now all of a sudden, Buck, we're talking about Drake has a chance to score before the half. NDSU forces the turnover. Now the Bison might have a chance to make the lead bigger.
And what did we talk about? You can get 20 to 20, but when you get in their red zone, they just tighten up so much.
5 wide receivers set, empty backfield for Miller. Great protection. Again, there's nobody there out in front of him. Miller takes off. It's across the 45 before he's finally spun down at the 42.
Problem when you play man is that you have guys running away from you. And quarterback sees it, they can take off.
They're first to the half.
Smart decision by Cam Miller. Remember, the one thing with Al Smith,
the game clock to 31 seconds.
The D coordinator talked about, we're going to play man. My concern with man with a guy like Cam Miller or Cole Payton, if he's having to throw, is that they can see that and they just take off.
Yeah.
They see you running away, and they know where the area is to get and the line the game.
Well, you got to think with both of those quarterbacks, whether it's Miller or whether it's Payton, you got to have a spy on them or something, right?
They don't. They have not had to, and because you just said it, 5 guys going out and running routes. It's hard to have a spy unless you use one of your linemen as almost like a quasi-spy.
37 yards on the ground this drive in the last 2 plays for Miller. And add 5 more yards to it on an offsides.
Colin Shrimp.
Offside. 92 defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
4th Drake penalty of this first half.
But also remember the false start on that last drive. Those 5 yards, anytime you do that, to me it just seems like it doesn't give you a chance to have your best opportunity to make plays. These are the things that hurt you in games like this.
So 1st and 5, knocking on the door of field goal range. Miller dumps it off. It's caught by Williams, his running back. Did not get out of bounds. He got down to the 34 before Sean Allison ripped him down.
30-second timeout, North Dakota State. They're second of the half. Please reset the game clock to 24 seconds.
Miller is still 7 of 7 in this game.
For 155 yards and a touchdown.
And every one of their running backs, including Miller, have been over 8 yards a carry.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. And you talk about great distribution of your yards, 160 rushing yards, 158 passing yards. Pretty balanced. And the turnovers for Drake have been just the killers as well.
Yeah, 2 of them, a fumble and an interception. Second and 2 for the Bison. Griffin Crosa's field goal long is 44 this year, so you want to get inside the 30 to give him a chance. Miller airs it out. They want to go end zone instead. Touchdown, Eli Green.
So they start playing with the spy. They have 3, rush 3, drop 8. And even with that, he's still able to find the open guy. I mean, you have to make sure you're there. Caleb Bowling is looking back, and he knows he has help in the back. That's almost 3-on-1, but Cam Miller throws a dart in between those three guys. Shouldn't be caught, but it is for 6.
Triple coverage, doesn't care. 35 straight for NDSU. Drake was in the red zone. Looked like they had a chance at points with under a minute to go before halftime. NDSU turns that interception in the end zone into a touchdown.
Well, you said it. Al Smith must have heard you, because what they did is they came with 3 and they had one middle linebacker kind of playing spy on Cam Miller. They need a spy. And then Caleb Bowling got caught in giving communication, and he got beat because he couldn't jam. That didn't allow the safeties to get in there. It's those little things like that that hurt you in games like this.
Penalties, turnovers, miscommunication, those things all add up. Al Smith, the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach for Drake, he knew his team had their hands full against this Bison offense coming into the week. Deion Campbell, the fair catch for the touchback to start.
No, I want to show you. You were very astute of saying, why don't they have all 22? They're going to have 3. They're going to rush, and they're going to keep a spy in the middle. Now, Caleb Bowling, 11, is looking inside. See
yeah.
You have the spy, but you have 2 safeties deep. Now, that inside, if you're the inside DB, you have to slow him down. You can't let him run free release like that. That's why it's 6. Those little things hurt you. They know Cam Miller can hurt you, but then he's able to say, okay, if you're not going to cover my guy that has speed, I'm going to score here.
Christian Galvan on the run, lowers the shoulder down to the 31. He gets 6 yards. On what appears to be the final play of the first half, and a first half dominated by North Dakota State.
Yeah, the Bison are doing what the Bison do. And if you aren't going to come up here and play at your highest level, this is what can happen to you. Let's hope Drake goes in at halftime and takes some of those things and comes back and plays much better.
Drake began the game up 3-0 on a field goal, but 5 touchdowns for the Bison after that. 35 unanswered for NDSU, and the Bison rolling 1 half in.
When LC puts on the headgear every Saturday morning, that is the moment when the day of football can start.
Could have never have dreamt that it would have become where we are today, where fans every week, that's what they wait for, to see which headgear he's going to put on.
I like Ohio State's speed and power, but I question their place kicker and their punter.
The headgear tradition started in 1996 at Ohio State. Herb Street was fairly new on the show, and Kirk's wife Allison had been an Ohio State cheerleader.
He thought I might have some kind of in to try to get Brutus his headgear.
They had to do some very high-level, tense negotiations.
I'm telling you, it took 3 or 4 different back and forths until finally they green-lighted Brutus.
I tell you one thing. Buckeyes!
Let's just examine the Brutus head. It's a head representing a nut, a 2-tone nut.
I like the Buckeyes!
So it's ridiculous looking. You can't help but laugh.
Hey, 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 hey!
And when he sensed that that was an entertaining moment that resonated with fans across the sport, he embraced it, and it's become a beloved tradition.
Colorado in a big upset!
I remember him as a young kid watching College Game Day, and Lee Corso was on there putting on the headgear. He is College Game Day.
I feel like I've been watching Lee Corso do that since, I was in high school. The different antics he's used and mascots he's used has been pretty incredible.
Pirate wolf costume, a purple cow!
Cows!
this day, I still watch and anticipate to see what he's going to do.
Go Navy, beat Army.
Seeing him fire off the guns is pretty funny.
My favorite one, we're at Texas, and McConaughey starts wrestling the LSU Tiger head off of LC. There was a little trickle of blood.
Katy Perry was incredible. Like, she damn near broke my man's nose, taking the mascot head off of him.
I think that the best one might be the outtakes.
How can you pick against SMU?
Throwing out some words that might needed to be edited.
My favorite memories definitely include live animals.
We got a live duck on the set.
He's not afraid of gamecocks. He's not afraid of alligators. He's not afraid of dogs of any kind.
That dog is beautiful. That dog is ugly. Give me this thing here.
I think the best part is when Coach does the okey-doke, where he grabs one head, gets ready to put it on, and then he chucks it to the side and grabs the other one.
I'm going with Sweet Home Alabama.
Anytime I'm watching and you don't know, what he's going to pick up, that's all pretty exciting.
Penn State.
Give him that head. Does that mean you're going to go against your first love, Brutus?
Coach Corso is a maestro of the crowd. He can take them on a ride like not many people in the history of television can.
Corso with the duck. He's always got something ready for the people, and to see him come out as Ben Franklin was just absolutely incredible.
I founded Penn. This is my school.
My best moment is when he picked Texas to win the national championship.
Tonight, they shocked the entire universe.
And all the other guys up there were totally against him.
I'm going with Texas Longhorns. Hook up, Texas!
And then we won. And I've praised Coach for that ever since.
There's a time with Bill Murray, we're at Death Valley at Florida State. And he comes up, Chief Osceola, and he's dancing. And Bill Murray sees that, and he picked Clemson, and he picks him up. WWE style. It's chaos everywhere.
Somebody that tried to copy that would be silly. There's only one person who can do that, Lee Corso.
I think he's been a great ambassador for college football and has brought some great perspective, but also brought laughs and fun to a game that we have to remember is still supposed to be fun and supposed to be a game.
What he's provided to so many households, what he's provided to so many of us as coaches, he put a lot of fun in the game. I just can't thank him enough.
For Lee Corso to put on that headgear 400 times, it never gets old.
Roll Tide!
It's sincere, it's authentic, it's genuine, it embraces the fans, it embraces the tradition of what makes this sport unlike any other, and what makes Lee Corso a college football broadcaster, an icon that's unlike any other who's ever been involved with this sport.
And God bless the United States of America!
The fact that I've got a chance to sit next to you all these years and watch you do your thing and just learn from you, it just taught me so much about this industry, watching you perform and the way you did it.
There he is. The Kirk Herbstreit Show.
We love you so much. You're a piece of gold that we cherish every single week.
The herd is rolling here in Fargo, down 3-0 to start the game on a field goal from Drake, but the Bison have scored 35 unanswered on 5 straight touchdown drives to take a 35-3 lead at halftime. Round of the rest of the first round games in the FCS playoffs. Sacramento State goes to Grand Forks, knocks off UND, so the Hornets are into the second round. NC Central was up a majority of that game against Richmond, but the Spiders, with a strong second half, have taken a 2-touchdown lead over NC Central. Another Missouri Valley Football Conference team, Southern Illinois, is all over Nichols in the second half, 28-0. That defense for the Dogs this year has been really good, and it's on full display right now in the first half. Delaware just kicked a field goal moments ago. Lafayette was up 34-33 in the fourth quarter, but the Blue Hens get a field goal. They're up 36-34 now in the fourth. Mercer up a touchdown against Gardner-Webb in the third, and Chattanooga on the road up 2 touchdowns on Austin Peay. Stats and first half highlights coming up next from the Fargodome here on ESPN+. First half has been all treats for North Dakota State fans, up 35-3 after 5 consecutive touchdown drives to end the first half. We welcome back inside the Fargodome. Charles Arbuckle and Noah Reed with you. It was a start that had Bison fans kind of holding their breath a little bit. A fumble on the first play. Drake turned it into 3 points, but North Dakota State turned into North Dakota State.
They do what they do, and I think even though this is a little bit earlier for them, they know when it gets to this time of the year, it's time to go and make plays.
Yeah, not happy about not getting a seed, so they have to play in the first round. They're looking good in the first half. But here's what we talked about. First play of the game, Cam Miller fumbles it.
Cam Miller gives the ball up. And this is a huge turn for Drake, being able to be in a position where they can start and start fast. And then Cole Payton able to get on the outside and make plays. Rajah Nelson, huge run. He showed a lot of speed, made some plays early. But Cam Miller standing in the face of pressure coming at him. Rajah Nelson again with a nice catch. And then just that power running game that we talked about, that everything is set up off of. And here Jaden Price said, hey, if offensive guys want to get involved, I'm going to get involved. 2 interceptions today. And then again, this was a nice throw again by Cam Miller. Right over the top to Eli Green.
That one came with 17 seconds left in the first half to put him up 35-3. 352 yards of total offense in the first half.
Yeah, they've been able to attack in so many different ways, and Drake hasn't been able to consistently stop them. And on third down, there were a couple of opportunities for them to get off the field. They weren't able to do it. Cam Miller coming up with huge throws, guys getting open for him.
Has it all Bison in the first half, 35-3. Second half coming up after this from the Fargodome. All Bison in half number 1. Welcome back to the NCAA FCS Championship first round coverage on ESPN+. From Fargo, North Dakota, the home of the Bison, and the Herd are rolling. 1 half of play in, 35-3 over Drake. Bulldogs do get the football to start this second half, an opportunity to piece something together to try to cut into a 32-point deficit.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for them to really get back on the snide. They were driving before the half, gave up a huge touchdown after that. This is an opportunity for them to start fast.
Luke Bailey having words with Todd Stepsis, his head coach, before going out on the field for the offense after this kickoff. Deion Campbell lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, let's say this too. No matter what happens with this Drake team, think about what they've come from to get here. I mean, it is, even the North Dakota State coaches were just talking about how amazed they were for a team that they saw last year to be in this position this year.
From the end of 2021 towards the end of 2022, they had lost 14 consecutive games. Luke Bailey gets inserted as the quarterback with 3 weeks left to go last year, and they are 11-3 since then. Just a remarkable turnaround in such a short time for Coach Stepsis and this Drake program to make their first ever FCS playoff appearance. Dorian Boylan gets the run and he charges for 2 yards.
Again, that safety position, they'll come up and make tackles. Wisniewski again, 31.
Jason Petrino, the defensive coordinator, compared him to Jeremy Chin, who's now with the Panthers, and said, Jeremy Chin's the best player I've ever coached. I don't like to compare guys, but he's got a similar skill set.
Said it's just something about him and the way he plays the game of football that he's just been so impressed with. And 5 interceptions this year, 1 for a pick 6 last week.
Bailey swings it out behind Boylan, and they blow it incomplete. That was really close to being forward or a backwards pass that could have been picked up and scored, but it's incomplete.
Well, and now the threat of run is not even there because you know you have to throw the football. He's made some plays in these situations, but it's an opportunity for your offensive guys to step up and keep this drive alive.
Need 8 yards on 3rd down. Bailey faces pressure, escapes the pocket, throws it away.
He might have just got outside the tackle box, but did it get past the line of scrimmage? Yeah.
It did not get past the line of scrimmage, so here's the intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Offense, number 2. Spot foul. Lost it down. 4th down.
Yeah, Jaden Price coming outside. They have stunt game inside, and he's not able to get out there and throw the ball past the line of scrimmage. Got outside the tackle box just enough, but not quite. Jaden Price has been all over the field.
Yeah, he has. Should have had 2 interceptions. One of them got called back, but he still has 1 in the first half. And he's the one that's back to return this punt from Shane Dunning. See if he can make a play in special teams too. Instead, it's a really short punt, and it bounces out at the +40. Bison have great starting field position.
Well, he had 3 quarterback hurries coming into this game. That was the 4th one for him. I'll say this too. They have really started to play much better, because when you watch tape of them earlier in the year, it was kind of going through the motions, especially defensively. And they had guys that were injured, now back. They just had a lot of different things, but this defense has really started to turn it up.
I know they're not a seed, but I don't know if anybody wants to play NDSU right now, the way they played the last couple weeks to end the regular season. Hand off to Tamarick Williams. Hops outside, carries a defender down with him to the 34 for 5 yards.
Well, the one thing you have to do to them is you have to get on top of them and force them to play from behind. And even they can do that, but that's not where they want to be. They want to be just what they're doing now. Tyler Roll and this offense knows how to get after you, especially when they have a lead.
Top 5 rushing offense in the nation. Cam Miller has the 2nd best completion percentage in all of FCS football. It's been an offense that's been rolling recently. One more time for Williams. Gets a couple more yards. It's 3rd and short.
And I'm sure we'll see a healthy dose of run. We'll start seeing some younger guys get in, because they talk about their player development as well as this game goes along. See 89 coming in, Finn Diggins, guy that they like as well. They've got a lot of tight ends, tight end bodies that go along with the run game.
They've got 4 or 5 deep tight ends that play all the time. Cole Payton's in there as quarterback. They need 3 yards from him on the ground. That's his specialty, and he gets it. North Dakota State stays a perfect 5 of 5 on 3rd down today.
I love what they said about how they get their second guys, the 2s going against each other and playing and development there. I think when you're a program like this, they've lost a couple guys, but they've been able to keep people because they have to wait their turn to play.
They don't lose many, though. In the world of transfer portal, I mean, when you come here to North Dakota State, and I can say that for Drake, too, because they don't have many transfers, these 2 programs do a great job of keeping players in-house.
And if they do get a transfer that comes in, like Tamarick Williams, who came from SMU, they know what they're getting into when they get here.
End around. Here's the handoff. It's Eli Green, and he's down inside the 20 before he's tackled by J.R. Flood. First down.
Excuse me. Every single guy, whether it's the offensive line or their tackles, their tight ends, their receivers, they're all trying to get blocks to spring guys for 6.
And now they go hurry up. Don't see this a ton from them. Got him to jump.
Colin Shrimp again, 92.
Offside, defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, still 1st down.
Out of Middleton, Wisconsin, didn't play last year, but they have gotten him to jump off sides multiple times today. Finn Claypool, we haven't been able to call his name a lot. They've moved him around, tried to get him in different positions. He's not in right now, but he is a key player for him as well.
Yeah, made 1 tackle early in the game, but outside of that, one of the best defensive ends in the nation has really not had much of an effect. Marshall bouncing away from a couple tacklers. Just got back to the line of scrimmage. Korzanowski with the stop. Winner advances on to take on number 6 Montana State in Bozeman next Saturday. Be a 2 Central kickoff. Montana State with the first round bye as the 6th seed. Empty backfield right now for Cam Miller. Second down, Drake showing pressure. Launches to the end zone. He's got Rajah Nelson for his 3rd touchdown today, but there is a flag.
Yeah. Zach Mathis, I think, is going to be called here for a pick, which we call a rub offensively. I can't call it a pick.
Pass interference, offense, number 0, 15-yard penalty, still second down.
I can't get myself to say that ugly word, but zero, you're going to see out by the numbers. He's going to come in. He should just run through that or try to avoid, and when you do that, they're going to call that every time. Now, the key to that is they came with pressure, and he still didn't get touched. This offensive line did a great job of picking that up. Zach is a captain, high football IQ. They said he's just been competing. They said he has just played really well.
Talked about his maturity, too, and how much he's grown up since he stepped foot on campus 4 years ago. 2nd and 20. Miller fake towards Nelson. He's still got time. Heaves it. Too far for Zach Mathis.
That's that man coverage they were talking about, and everybody was covered in that particular instance, but Miller had all kind of time. He was comfortable back there. He was making breakfast. I thought he was going to make me some eggs and bacon up here. And he was just taking his time.
That's what I'm talking about. Some biscuits and gravy up here, something, right? Hey, that was the first incompletion today for Cam Miller. 9 for 10, 192 yards, and 2 touchdowns. How's that for a day so far?
It's been almost like 7-on-7 for him, really. It's just been an easy game, not feeling much pressure back there.
In fact, one time he did get hit, he still threw a touchdown. Surveying, zips it, that's caught. Eli Green down to the 13. It's 4th down.
That time they did a much better job when they had 3 and dropped 8. Got a defender down.
It's Jason Christensen.
Timeout for a defensive injury. Media, timeout.
It's the 2nd time he's been down.
Yeah, I think he was dealing with something before the game. Hopefully he's okay. He's just struggling to get off the field right there.
We'll take the timeout with him. 4th and 6 coming up for North Dakota State after this. North Dakota State's got the field goal unit on here on a 4th down. Griffin Crosa from 31 yards. He's hit from as long as 44 this year. He goes straight down the middle, and it extends it to 38 unanswered points for North Dakota State. More and more games starting to go final now across the first round of the FCS playoffs. We already told you about Sac State taking down North Dakota on the road. Richmond beats NC Central after NC Central led a majority of that game, but stormed from behind to win 49-27. So Richmond is on to the 2nd round to face number 5 Albany. And on the other side of the bracket, which is our side of the bracket, Sac State takes on number 3 South Dakota next week. Delaware holds on with a late 4th quarter field goal over Lafayette. The Blue Hens are headed to take on Montana next week.
Saw Lafayette earlier this year. That's a big win for Delaware. You know, Lafayette played Duke really tough in the first half on the game that I got to see, and that's a huge win for Delaware to go to Montana and play Bobby Houck, my guy from UCLA way back in the day. He was an assistant coach on that staff many years ago.
The winner of our game heads to Bozeman next week to take on number 6 Montana State. Kickoff takes a hop into the end zone, touchback for Drake. They went 3 and out on the opening drive of this third quarter, gave the ball back to North Dakota State in great field position, which the Bison turned it into 3 points.
Yeah, Drake is, every time they think they're getting some momentum, the Bison just figure out a way to shut the door on them.
Well, you kind of said it twice in the first half, but you can move the football from the 20 to the 20 on the Bison. It's not necessarily super difficult, but when you get near the red zone, they just shut you down. Drive starts at the 25. Christian Galvan has a seam up the middle, and he's all the way across the 40. Give him 16 yards on the opening play of the drive.
Christian Galvan, one of those downhill runners, transfer from University of Washington. Good blocking by that offensive line, really coming off the ball well. And Galvan just running downhill. When you have that open hole like that and you're a running back, your eyes get big because you know one cut, I stick it and I go.
Tyler Stepsis, the head coach, called him the violent runner and said he wants to run through your face if you give him the chance to. Fake it to him, screen pass, and it hopped in. Bounced on the ground first before it got to the receiver, Trey Radica, second down.
Radica did a heck of a job scooping that out. Haven't played first base most of my life. This is the kind of play you make. I thought he got his hands under. I'm gonna call it a catch.
Off the short hop.
yeah, it did hit the ground. But you know what? I like the fact that he just said, okay, scoop it up and I'm gonna go. Sometimes that's what you will see from Luke Bailey. Ball that may not quite get there or go a little high from the arm angle slot that he goes with.
Yeah, he goes sidearm quite a bit on his release. Hands it off to Galvan. Spins away from a tackler, and he's hit from behind at the 47 by Cole Wisniewski.
Yeah, a couple of nice plays by Galvan. Another injury.
Timeout for an offensive injury. Media, timeout.
Parker Althouse, the left tackle, is down on the ground for the Bulldogs. 3rd and short on the other side for Drake, trying to extend the drive. Drake is one of 3 teams in this year's FCS playoffs making it for the first time. NC Central already lost earlier today, so they go 1 and done. But at last check, Mercer was up 2 touchdowns on Gardner-Webb.
They were, and I think North Carolina Central started leading and then lost the game. So it's interesting for the first time what you will see from those teams that get into the FCS playoffs.
Play action for Bailey, dumps it off to his tight end, lost the football, and it was caught. No way.
Wow.
Julian Wood-Darsick goes lunging to make the play.
These guys just have a nose for the ball. They have a nose for the football.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense.
Wow. Well, Darsick does a great job. And that's Sam Young who comes in and knocks it out. Look at this, how he keeps his feet in bounds and slides the other one.
2 of them. Got both of them in.
Go on with your bad self right there.
Sam Young the hit, Julian Wood-Darsick.
Wow.
A guy who hadn't played the last 4 weeks comes up with a big play to get the football back.
Well, it's Sam Young who helped the coach install the defense and knows the defense well. Look at the hit, though. The ball comes out, both feet. I'm telling you, they are on defense thinking offensively.
Yeah.
In the last few weeks, it's been amazing to watch them on tape. I mean, every time that ball is in the air, it's like dogs are going to hunt.
DBs turning into wide receivers.
Man.
Peyton holds on to it. His first pass in 4 weeks is completed. Jake Lippy tiptoeing down the sideline, and he gets shoved out of bounds.
Cole Payton's going to go into Coach Tyler Roll and say, Coach, I can throw the ball. Just let me throw it. A really nice job there. Again, with that motion, getting him out in space and just letting him run. They've got a lot of receiver weapons. You can see that group, and they're all cheering for each other. I love this part. When guys come off, you know, if there's some animosity, you usually see it. Look at that group. They're all together.
Matt Entz said the deepest and most talented wide receiver room we've ever had. He said a lot of times it's one really good guy and then a bunch of others. He said we got a bunch of dudes in that room. Marshall cutting outside, swarmed and dropped behind the line. Tyler Radica, who's had a really good game defensively for Drake, is the first one there.
He's been all over the place. Lyndon Howe also there. One of those guys that just always seems to be around the football. 40 tackles on the year. Was a running back in high school. They had a couple of guys that played running back in high school. He and Jacob Thompson. You see that sometimes if you played running back and you knew eventually you were going to, your body was going to get too big or you weren't going to be able to run the rock, and they move you fullback, go play linebacker.
Lyndon Howe is what Al Smith, the defensive coordinator, called the rock. He said he's been an extension of me out there. Peyton flush to the left, now takes off and uses the legs, lowers the shoulder and twisted down across the 20.
We said this at the break. Drake hasn't stopped playing hard. It's just you're in a game where you've got a team that's gotten out in front of you. I like how they fly to the football and what they're doing. Even that last drive, we saw them driving the ball down the field, but this Bison defense, I know their offense has been good, but their defense the last few weeks, man, they have been salty.
Yeah, a couple early losses in Valley play, but they have risen to the occasion the last couple weeks of the regular season and now into the first round of the playoffs. Peyton straight up the middle. It's wrapped up by the ankles and he hops down to the 15, and 4th and less than a yard coming up for the Bison.
The numbers don't favor you defensively when the quarterback runs and can run as effectively as he can, because he has an extra blocker. You're trying to make sure you stop him before he gets to the second level. But we've seen Cole Peyton get to the second, third, almost to the end zone level, and he did score earlier. It's tough when you have a guy like that.
6'3", and he's physical. Keeps it on the sneak. The original spotting has him right at the line to gain, and that's enough for a first down. You just think about the physicality that he has, and when you're 6'3", you pick up 2 yards by just leaning forward.
Exactly. 6'3", 230. Nebraska Gatorade Player of the Year in high school. 65 passing touchdowns. That's why he said, Coach Roll, I can still throw. 37. Had all kind of 37 rushing touchdowns, I think, also as well. So just really able to run the football effectively.
Gives it to Pinu. Bouncing outside, Barika Pinu scores the touchdown for the Bison.
There's a certain level of what they do inside, and look at this offensive line. Look at how they move the line of scrimmage 2 to 3 yards. Pinu is just able to pick his hole, and he's so fast. He gets to the end zone nice and easy, so fresh and so clean.
3rd touchdown of the year for Pinu. 44 straight for North Dakota State. And make it 45 on the Griffin Crosa extra point. Defense leading to offense.
Well, when you got a defense that can make plays for you, then you got a running back that comes in and can do this. That's why you're leading like the Bison are right now.
Julian Wadarsik with a fumble recovery that leads to another Bison touchdown, and North Dakota State up 45-3.
Julian going with the Troy Polamalu.
A guy who had a great spring, Julian Wadarsik did, but battled some injuries this season. He had missed 4 consecutive games before coming back this week for the playoffs. He gets a fumble recovery that turns into 7 for his team. Campbell lets it fly over his head for the touchback. The NCAA FCS Championship coverage continues next weekend with the second round coverage beginning Saturday on ESPN+. For more information, visit ncaa.com, the home of all 90 NCAA championships. Well, Charles, you, me, the rest of our crew heading out to Bozeman, the winner of this game, which looks like North Dakota State's looking pretty good, taking on Montana State next week in the second rounds.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Montana State gets a chance to watch it from home, and North Dakota State uncharacteristically having to play this week and not getting a bye, but they look like they're in full FCS playoff mode.
Here's Galvan. He gets just a yard on the first play, tackled by Marcus Goley. So here's the top 4 seeds. South Dakota State has been the clear-cut #1 team, defending national champions. They've lost won at 25 consecutive games now.
Yeah, they have been so good. Montana won the first Big Sky championship since 2009. South Dakota, first ever top 8 seed ranking, and Idaho will host first playoff game since '93.
Galvan again tried to spin away from a tackler, and it's Cody Heisman who's there to meet him immediately at the line.
Cody Heisman has played well today, too. We've called his name quite a bit. Last week, I'll say it again, 5 sacks from 8 defensive linemen. He was one of them, had a half a sack. I think these guys are all in the locker room saying, okay, who's getting next? Who's got next?
Next man up, right?
Yeah.
And ahead of a 3rd and 9, it's another Drake penalty on a false start.
False start. Offense, number 88, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Zach Gray, the wide receiver, gets called for it and makes this now a 3rd and 14 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, probably their best receiver in the tight end group. 6'4", 223, 5th-year senior out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Said they had him timed at 20 miles per hour this week. Whew.
7th penalty today for Todd Stepsis and Drake. Long 3rd down to convert here to try to keep the offense on the field. Bailey slings it over the middle. It's intercepted. Another North Dakota State turnover. Sam Young with the pick, the one who forced the fumble last drive.
Had the way to turn the play. Had an opportunity for a huge fumble, forced fumble last series, and now coming up with an opportunity here. He's trying to go to Zach Gray, but throws the ball behind him. Sam Young, who helped the coach install the defense. Dad's a high school football coach, had to wait his turn, but man, when he's got an opportunity, big plays by Sam Young, 2 series in a row.
Back-to-back weeks with an interception for Sam Young. It's now 4 on the day for the Bison defense. The offense takes over at the 20. It's TK Marshall trying to reverse field. He lost the football. Drake immediately says they have it. They're starting to walk off the field.
Colin Shrimp came up with it looked like. 92.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense. 1st down, Drake.
One play after the Bison get an interception, Drake gets the fumble and recovers it.
Yeah, I think that was
Lyndon Howe forced it.
Yeah. The hardest part for a running back or a receiver when they're running by you and the guy just reaches there, it's hard to hold on to the football. But Lyndon Howe with a great strip.
I know it hasn't been a great day for Drake, but that's a couple fumbles they've forced now. They've gotten the ball on the deck. They've recovered it. They've forced some turnovers today.
They really have. They've been in a position where it's forced North Dakota State to get their defense back out there pretty quickly.
Hand off to Christian Galvan with a nice sidestep, and then he gets ripped down at the 20 for 4 yards.
In the last 2 weeks, this defense has had 8 INTs.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like, just make sure you throw the ball in the air that you don't put it up there. And they had a forced fumble recovery today. It's been crazy how many turnovers they've created.
2 fumbles today. The one on the strip sack in the first half, and then the one 2 drives ago.
6 turnovers, 6 takeaways today. Tony Dungy used to say when he was with the Colts, if we can get 35 takeaways, 30 to 35 a year, these guys have already got they had 6 today.
Galvan just gets to the line of scrimmage.
Because what it does is it gives your offense another opportunity, and it demoralizes the defense in a sense because they got to go right back out there. You know, seeing a lot of backups now for this North Dakota State football team, or guys that have rolled in most of the day. Marcus Gully, we see him, and there's still some other guys that are playing. I think we're going to start seeing some of their backups a little bit more as the game goes on.
Final minute 20 of the 3rd quarter. Bailey spits it out, caught by Campbell, sheds a tackler, now reversing field. He's starting to run the wrong way. Campbell gets a block in front of him, curling the corner, and that is the longest 2-yard loss you'll ever see.
Well, it's 53 yards from sideline to sideline, so add that into it as well. He ran a long way to get nothing.
A 75-yard, 2-yard loss.
Oh, man. And oh, by the way, you have to punt from deep in your end to a guy that can do a pretty nice job of giving damage in the return game.
Jaden Price returned a punt for a touchdown last year against Drake.
And he had one this year against Murray State, I think.
A good punt, though, and a fair catch called for at the 36.
Yeah, a 66-yarder against Murray State. So Jaden Price he's played a heck of a game on the defensive end. They've kind of taken him out of the punt return game, and they said they wanted to do that.
Yeah, Coach Steps has said we will be very precise with our kick and punt location, making sure Jaden Price doesn't get a chance on us. So Cole Payton's the quarterback in there. Not sure we'll see a ton of Cam Miller the rest of the way for the Bison. Hands off to Williams. It's a couple yards.
Might get one more play before the 4th quarter. They don't have to, so probably won't. But this has been a dominant game, and I guess they are going to go. I thought they may use all the clock to get to the 4th quarter. Yeah,
they might.
They're telling them quarter. I said it earlier. Their fan base is very knowledgeable. They know football.
The 3rd quarter.
I had a young girl and guy at the hotel telling me some stuff about football. I was learning.
There we go. 4's up in the air here inside the Fargodome. North Dakota State is rolling. 45 unanswered. 4 forced turnovers by the defense today. And the Bison are 15 minutes away from the 2nd round. We got the Clydesdales out in front of the Fargodome here in Fargo today.
Man, they make they move the crowd.
Roll in the herd into the Fargodome as we welcome you back to the NCAA FCS Championship 1st round coverage on ESPN+. 45-3, North Dakota State over Drake. Start of the 4th quarter. Pennu spins away from one tackler and he ducks down to the 43 to bring up 3rd and 5.
Pennu has that extra little burst with a little spin. The defensive line likes to do it, but they've got a couple of guys on offense that can spin and get out of trouble as well.
And Pennu's the change of pace guy, really smooth, twitchy, can make you miss. And in this offense, that's really effective because you got a bunch of bruisers and guys who run straight up the middle. You throw Pennu in there. Third and 4, toss to Marshall. They go trick play on the reverse. Braylon Henderson follows a handful of blocks all the way down inside the 40 for a 1st down.
Clearly they wanted to get out in open space. Braylon Henderson is a guy that can run. Now, you're giving Montana State a few things to think about. A really nice job, and you see the quarterback out there along with a whole bunch of others, Gray, Zabel, and all the offensive line. Again, the reason why they have big explosive plays in the run game is because it's a commitment from all 10 other guys to block for that one.
Surprised to see them running trick plays right now.
Yeah, a little surprising.
Marshall angling to the outside, takes a defender with him all the way down to the 15. That was Caleb Bowling he was dragging with him.
This offense gets rolling, man, and it's hard to stop him.
That is Caleb Bowling's 9th tackle, career high for him.
He has been all over the field, having to force to make tackles and that back end of the defense.
Another red zone trip for North Dakota State. Marshall tries to pick his way through the line. He gets 4 yards.
Noah, that line of scrimmage on the interior moved about 3 yards.
Yeah.
That's why your running back has the opportunity to find a hole and pick a hole where he wants to go.
It's funny you say that because I almost made the comment that he just gets back to the line, and then I looked up and I saw that line was 4 yards ahead of where the line of scrimmage was.
They really know how to reestablish the line of scrimmage, and that's the thing as an offensive lineman. You want to be able to move a guy even though he knows he's trying to be moved.
Second and 6, Peyton pulls it. And he's down to the 5. Jake Shipla with the tackle.
He was just holding on for dear life. Shipla met him in the hole, and Peyton took him for about 3 or 4 more yards. It's a Bison team that just, by this time of the year when they're starting to roll, this is what they're doing to you, 3rd and 1. Or gashing you early on 1st down, making it 2nd and short.
Especially late into a second half. They just wear you out. Toss to Penu on a 3rd and 1. Penu already has a touchdown today. He gets the 1st down, but he's wrapped up at the 3.
Lyndon Howell was there first, and he held on and waited for some of his other buddies to get there. I haven't seen Finn Claypool in for a while. He may have been out of the game early, but they have a lot of guys that are trying to rotate in to make these stops. This offensive line is just leaning on them.
Doing what North Dakota State does to you. 272 yards on the ground today for the Bison, early 4th quarter, and up to 500 total on the game.
Average 233 on the year, so they're above their average already.
Penu bouncing off a tackler, spins, and he's stopped around the 2. 4th time this year North Dakota State has surpassed 500 yards of total offense for Matt Ensign company.
You know, he said it. He said we kind of started thinking we're wearing the colors, and I'm glad his guys realized that, because it sounded like it was the leaders of the team, not just the coaches. So they let off of them a little bit, and they felt like after that they had to get back to what they were, the physicality there, what's in their DNA, really.
Penu hops outside, 2nd touchdown today for Barika Penu.
And Noah, what that touchdown told me, but what also the conversations we had, it wasn't about who they were playing, it was about what they could do best. You see that there. Penu, if you get him outside and there's no contain, that's easy. That's an easy touchdown for him. But when teams are starting to roll, that's what happens. They start to believe, and it becomes a team-led kind of situation where your coaches just, okay, we know what you guys can do because we've seen it.
Right.
Now let's see you do it consistently every week.
Kick goes down the middle. 52 straight, rattled off by North Dakota State. Bison up big. It's the first FCS playoff appearance ever by Todd Stepsis and Drake, and it clearly hasn't gone the way that they want to today, Charles. But they're in the playoffs for the first time ever, and that is Coach Stepsis' wife, Angie, who can be seen doing this all the time. She paces, she stays away from other people, and she takes football so intensely.
This is how I watch games when my son was in high school or go to high. I mean, we laughed because he said it's almost like, look, Cheryl, the young daughter on Remember the Titans.
This is Campbell on the return. He escapes one tackler, reverses, and he gets taken down at the 17.
Said he'll be watching film, and she comes by and, like, gives him stuff. I love it. I love it.
She's from Ohio. She's a big Bengals fan, and he said, I have told her multiple times watching a Bengals game with her is embarrassing because she just stands up and yells, "Hoo day!" all the time. I love it.
We played the Bengals when I was in Indy every preseason, so their fans were I love their fans, but their fans are a lot.
They get into it,
They get into it.
First play of the drive. Christian Galvan runs into a wall. Cody Heisman and Cole Menz lead the charge.
And a coach's wife, man, it is not easy.
Right.
You know, I just was back out for a statue dedication for Terry Donahue, and his wife Andrea was great to all of us. But I just used to tell her, I can only imagine what you had to tell him and what you guys talked about, because we gave him fits and he gave us fits. We loved that she was as good as gold.
The hours coaches put in away from home all year round. Fake the run. It's completed on a pass.
Well, and it becomes your family. You know, all these guys that are on the team become extensions of your sons or daughters because you're around them all the time. If they don't have a place to go for the holidays, they're at your house.
Right.
You know, it's more than just, coaching is more than just X and O. It is.
And Drake's coaching staff did that. They separated into position groups for Thanksgiving on Thursday, and every position group went to their coach's house for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, because this is the first time they've had this experience, so they wanted them to enjoy it, but it also got them closer and to understand what it's like to be playing at this time of the year.
Pressure off the edge. Bailey takes off, throws it. It's incomplete.
Yeah, Luke was running for his life on that one. Cole Menz, he was chasing him. Another one of those guys of the 8 D linemen that had a half a sack last week. Mother Brenda ran track and field at Jamestown. So he showed a little speed there. Said, Mom, I know you can run.
Go Jimmies. A 3 and out has the punt unit on. John Gores is back to return the punt. He calls for the fair catch and holds it in at the 36. 8:12 to play inside the Fargodome. North Dakota State just 8 minutes away from a second-round date with Montana State. This is a look at the other side of the bracket from us. We already talked about Richmond over NC Central. Southern Illinois has gone final over Nichols, where the Salukis defense shut them out. And the Salukis are on to Idaho next week to take on the Vandals. This is Barika Penu reversing field and just got tripped up by the ankles by Ethan Zager.
Penu just, boy, he is explosive. Talked about one guy that has really kind of started to get into his own this year. He's done a nice job. Sophomore out of Fargo, North Dakota, right here.
A West Fargo Cheyenne product. Two-time All-State for the Mustangs. Right back to him. He's got the first down before he's twisted down across midfield.
Played at the same high school as Menz. Say this too, when you have a guy that runs that fast, it makes it so much easier for the offensive line.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, after this penalty flag is sorted out.
after the play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense, number 50. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Frustration.
That's number 50's first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
Marshall Faulk was a holdout when I was at Indianapolis, so we didn't see him for 2 weeks. He comes in the camp. We don't have pads on. We're blocking. He comes by and I just feel. So that's different.
Yeah,
it's different. I played high school ball where Thurman Thomas went, and I was a little bit younger than Thurman. But I said that's a different level.
Yeah.
And I'm not comparing Penu to either one of those guys, but
Right.
there's a certain level of speed that you feel when you hold a block for a guy. As an alignment or a tight end, you love it.
Well, and I have to imagine too, and the way North Dakota State runs, physical right at you up the middle. When you can get a guy like Penu who can get to the edge, bounce it outside, it's just a different dimension.
And he has the patience to him, and then all of a sudden that gear, he gets to third and fourth gear like that. They're going to be a tough out. You know this team is going to be there to play. But you got South Dakota State from this conference that's the #1 seed. Southern Illinois won earlier. Good tackle.
Peyton dumps it out to Carson Williams, but a tackle was made immediately by C.J. Grizzard.
Finn Claypool said it. He compared the Missouri Valley Football Conference to the SEC version of the FCS.
Yeah. Yep.
He said these teams are really good. In order for us to beat them, we've got to go play them. A lot of people do that. Big Sky is no joke either, and I think that's what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Next week.
There's some good football at the FCS level.
Yeah, 6 teams from the Valley made the playoffs this year. That's a quarter of the field, all coming from one conference. Peyton stepping up. He's dropped. A sack for Colin Schremp.
Colin Schremp has struggled, had some offsides, penalties, but that was a nice sack by him. The pressure's coming. This offensive line has done a pretty good job of holding up. Schremp does a nice job of spinning back right into Cole Peyton.
And so on a 4th and 15 in no man's land at the 36, the offense stays on the field.
And Gene Blaylock also a key contributor to that sack, allowing Schremp to come back and make that sack.
Second sack today for Schremp. And now Peyton rolling out, fakes the throw, takes off with the legs, has the first down. Peyton, second touchdown today. This one on a 4th and 15.
Talk about great athleticism. Finn Claypool is chasing, but he has no chance to get him. And he is just off to the races. Talk about a guy at 6'3", 230, but he has some wheels.
Yeah, he does.
And the blocking downfield, again, you saw that late block by a receiver. There's a commitment.
An NDSU record for most points ever in a playoff game. And spoiler alert, they've played in a lot of them. 59 today for the Bison. Buck, do they even have enough room to add to that trophy room?
Man, they're going to stack them. They just keep stacking them in there. That's a great trophy room, by the way.
That's all you got to show in recruiting, I feel like. Bring a player in there. That'll make them want to stay. 17 total national championships, 9 of them at the FCS level, and all 9 of those have come in the last 12 seasons for North Dakota State. Hey, we're a perfect 9-0 in the title game before the loss to South Dakota State last year. Deion Campbell, trouble with it in the end zone, but he brings it out. And he got rocked at the 15.
You kind of think, I don't know if you want to take that one out. But Deion was saying, okay, I'm going to get some stats on this one.
I do think we should give a lot of credit to the year that Drake had this year, and the way that you start 0-3, you lose a couple games one by 48 in week 1, one by 63 in week 3, and to go 8-0 in your conference, get to a win in your playoff game, quote-unquote playoff game last week in the regular season, to win that and get here, pretty special season for the Bulldogs.
Well, we talked about it too. The Valley is a whole nother level than the Pioneer League. Not taking anything away from that league, but they haven't had a team win in the FCS since San Diego did it in 16 and 17. So that just tells you how hard it is once you get here. But I like what Todd Stepsis and his staff have done. Just, they knew it was going to be a challenge, right? But what I have seen the whole game, and this is not saying you want moral victories, but these guys have fought, man. They have played as hard as they can against a team that is used to being in this situation.
This is Blake Ellingson, new quarterback in there from Libertyville, Illinois, and he uses the legs to twist for 4 yards down to the 19.
But once you start getting behind and you have turnovers, I mean, it was 6 turnovers in this game, or giveaways from Drake. That makes it awful hard against a team like North Dakota State.
And a couple of them down in the red zone, one in the end zone. When you had a chance to put points on the board, you just couldn't finish drives.
Yeah, and then you have a defense that just lately has been on a tear, like challenging the offense in practice and then coming out and playing like an offense.
Oh, Ellingson lost the football. It's picked up on a scoop and score for the Bison. Kelton McCaslin.
Rolling on the field is a fumble, recovered by the defense for a touchdown.
He had a sack last week, but that score right there is huge. Matt Ince said the D-line has been a work in progress, but they have really played well over the last few weeks. Athleticism again, a team that wants to get after you, but when they get the chance to get the ball, they go after it and they try to score.
A defensive touchdown for North Dakota State, who has scored 65 consecutive points, make it 66. Bison looking scary heading into the second round of the playoffs. I don't think there's many teams that want to play this group. Jason Petrino in the gray hat, that's the defensive coordinator for North Dakota State, and what a day his defense had today, Buck.
That's when your defensive guys are laughing like that. I mean, there's something going on, but he has to be happy with how his defense has played.
5 turnovers today the North Dakota State defense forced. They turned those into 28 points.
Well, and they had a pick 6 last week.
Yeah.
Wisneski, excuse me, and then this week you've got McCaslin with the fumble recovery return for a touchdown. I'm telling you, man, they are starting to really turn the corner with this defense.
Kicking team. Ball we place at the 35-yard line.
They're not a seed, and it's the first time in a long time they haven't been, but I would put them somewhere in the top 3 teams in the tournament field that you just don't want to see right now. I think South Dakota State's got to be the clear number 1, right? You won 25 in a row, you're defending champs. I don't think many people want to play Montana the way that they dominated Montana State, but then I think NDSU's in that group.
And then Southern Illinois is in the mix, even though they got beat a few weeks ago by this same team here. There's a few folks you don't want to see. Montana State, even though they got beat bad last week by Montana, they're another team that,
You and I are in for a fun one next week in Bozeman, aren't we?
I can't wait.
Woo! Christian Galvan got planted at the line of scrimmage by Marcus Goley. And this defense is playing all the way till the end, even when they're up 63 points.
The Isley brothers had a song, Hello, I'm Here. Hello, it's me.
And now you're thinking of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, no.
Hello,
I'm
it's
not going
me.
to Taylor Swift. No. Hello, it's me. Thought about it for a long time, Marcus Gully did.
It's me. Hi.
You singing Taylor Swift. I'm going to Isley Brothers. That's our generational difference. But that's okay, because Ron Isley is still singing. And Taylor is doing her thing along with Beyonce and all the young guns.
Caught by McCulley. Wrestles his way down to the 40.
When you come in the stadiums, though, how much do you hear the music and you're like, that's the same beat and the same almost sound that I heard last week on the other song. Give me a little bit of difference. Oh.
Third and 5. Galvan is down to the 43. That's 2 yards shy of a first down.
You know, speaking of Galvan, remember Dorian Boylan really started off running the ball effectively.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get more touches in the second half, because he ran for almost 9 yards a carry in the first half.
He was running well. Well, if you're Drake, you've got to figure out how to get back to this level. And
Galvan is met right at the line to gain.
Nathaniel Staley. Guys that'll just come and play. All kind of guys coming in. And, I mean, but that's, hey, you know, I love what they said about being a developmental program and giving our young guys a chance to play.
Yeah.
So when they step in, Sam Young, who didn't get a chance to play but had to wait his turn, now he's playing. Staley, a guy like that we'll probably see as a redshirt freshman out of Minnesota. All these guys, they understand. And with Drake, the thing is, now you know what it feels like to win 8 straight games and understand what that takes. They ran into a team that was just at another level.
Play is blown dead. Somebody on Drake jumped off sides.
Looks like Gene Blaylock got an early start.
Offside, defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
You know, I know this isn't the normal crowd that you're used to seeing at an NDSU playoff game, but this place is just impossible to win in. 35-1 in the FCS playoffs is NDSU's record here in the Fargodome after today.
They don't lose here.
No, they don't.
And I think they have a certain amount of pride no matter who puts the jersey on, whether it's the guys in the past, Carson Wentz or, you know, Trey Lance, Christian Watson, now the young guns. Tyler Roll, you know, talked about it because he's been around this program for a long time. They've got a certain pride that they have in winning. Tyler right there, you know, he's been around it and understands. He and Matt Ince, they understand what it takes here. And I think when you keep your coaching staff pretty consistent, that helps you keep passing it on to the next guys.
They've won 2 national titles since Matt Ince has taken over in 2019, but he was the defensive coordinator under Chris Kleiman when they won 4 national titles in 5 years. I mean, so this is from top to bottom. They know what it feels like to win, and they know what it feels like to win in the playoffs.
Well, and when you have guys that have gone to that next level, they can come back and share with the other guys.
Yeah.
No matter what number it is, they can come back and say, hey, this is what it took me to get to this level and continue to thrive and be really productive at the next level.
66-3. Cam Miller and North Dakota State roll in the first round, and they head out to Bozeman next week for a second-round matchup with number 6 Montana State.
Well, I don't know if they wanted to be in this position, but they said they were in this position, and I think they showed today what it takes no matter what seed they are. And there's a lot of good teams in this FCS playoffs, but it's going to be interesting to see how this team does next week, especially against Montana State. No more home games here.
Right.
They got to go on the road to win the rest of them, the way it looks, right?
45-4 all time in the playoffs, 35-1 inside the Fargodome. And they head to Bozeman next week to take on Montana State, who NDSU is 4-0 all time in the FCS playoffs against the Cats. So this is what our half of the bracket looked like. Chattanooga holds on against Austin Peay late in that game to advance to take on Furman next week. It's Montana and Delaware. Sac State takes on South Dakota. And then you and I partner head to Bozeman. We've got North Dakota State and Montana State at 3 Eastern next Saturday. When you look at this half of the bracket, Buck, who's got the hardest path to get to the national championship?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say right now, but I would say if you're Montana State, who's second for you? I mean, you know, those are the things you look at. Delaware beat a game Lafayette team, but I really think that Montana State, North Dakota State has some. It has some things there, because even though this is an unranked or unseeded team, they still, all bets are off if they keep playing like they did today.
Yeah, that is a tough road there. If you talk about North Dakota State in the second round, and then potentially if you do get by the Bison, then you're looking at maybe South Dakota right in the eyes.
Exactly, yeah. It's pretty stacked on that side right
And then
now.
potentially Montana waiting on all of you in the semifinals. But what a day for North Dakota State. 66-3. They fumbled on the first play of the game. They gave up a field goal, but then they went 66 unanswered in a rout over Drake.
Yeah, I mean, it's what they're accustomed to being here at this time of the year, and I think that's really key. If you look at this North Dakota State football club and program, this is what they want to do. This is what they play for. This is all those hard practices and those tough practices against each other, is to get into this situation here.
More than 500 yards of total offense. The defense forces 5 turnovers and turn those into 28 points off of turnovers and roll on their way to a 66-3 win. Got to feel good about your team going into the second round, right?
Yeah, you do. I mean, it may not be where you want it to be, but you're here, and I sense that everybody around this program knew what they were getting ready to do.
Defense posing for a picture, and you might as well after a 5-turnover day.
That defense played some outstanding football.
Well, that'll do it for us here in Fargo. A big thank you to our entire crew. For Charles Arbuckle, Zach Hoffner, Chase Miller in the booth, I'm Noah Reed saying so long from Fargo. North Dakota State wins 66-3 over Drake in the first round.